So it's Luke from Flashbuzz, and I'm Rob from Flashbuzz. Hello, Luke.
Hello. You right?
Yeah, very good. You're very good. So we thought it would be nice and fun, and hopefully really valuable to kind of have as much of a daily kind of web learning, really, some online learning around things that if we were working with you as a client or your sector, things that we would think about doing. So we might not be able to do all of those things, some of which we can, but some of which we can't. But there might be some nuggets of truth in there that businesses could run with and use themselves. And it keeps us busy, and it gives people some content to watch as well. So Luke, tell these lovely people across social media what sector or what business area in particular we're talking about today.
So today we thought a good one to talk about would be the hairdressing industry, mainly because obviously a lot of them aren't going to be working at the moment. And I think it'll be quite important, especially after these 3 months or whatever it is that we're in quarantine, that they actually get up and running really quickly, mainly because people won't get haircuts for a while is the big reason. And suddenly everyone's going to then panic and decide, oh, I need a haircut. And, you know, if they're not preempting this sort of thing and maximizing it, it'll be a bit of a shame. So I think it's a good idea to talk about that industry.
100%. So hit me with your sort of your first idea, and then we'll kind of play idea ping pong and see who runs out of steam first.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think a good thing to be doing at this time, obviously, because you know hairdressers won't be in office working at the moment, is to think about content. You know, a lot of businesses, this doesn't just apply to the hairdressing industry. Neglect content and creating content for their businesses. Now, usually it's just because they say we don't have time or we don't have the right equipment, whatever it might be. But now, considering that not many of us are doing a lot, I think it's a really good idea to start either thinking about a content plan once you're up and running, or thinking about what content you can create now, just to keep engagement and keep the conversation going with your existing customers and potentially new ones. What are your thoughts?
No, 100%. So for me, the things that stand out there are building up. Well, you've already got an audience, so your customers will sort of regularly come in, you know, every couple of weeks, every couple of months, whatever it might be. You know, you still need to have that connection with them, and you need to change tactics. So you can't invite people in like you did before. So you've got to kind of capture that message and capture the value of your business and play it out on digital channels at the moment. So you know, I've got some ideas around that. So give us some content ideas. So if you're a hairdresser or a barber, you know, what sort of thing would you do?
So a good thing might be, especially at the moment, if you're trying to deliver value to your customers, would be to do sort of like a at-home tips and tricks type thing. Again, it's just keeping in the conversation. It'll be very, very interesting now to hear what hairdressers recommend to people as they're at home and can't go to the hairdressers. And I think it'd create a lot of value and probably quite a lot of buzz because, like I've said a lot of times now, it's 3 months potentially of quarantine. So therefore, people won't be getting haircuts. So if they can, you know, deliver small, short videos, tips and tricks, how to deal with your hair, whether you've got long wavy hair or short hair at home, I think that'd be really valuable. And I think you could create probably like a little series of them. You don't need a lot of equipment. You know, you could probably just use your iPhone or whatever it is. But if you had a list of maybe 5-10 videos or something, I think you could do something really good with that.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, this is a good opportunity to dig out all of those email addresses. If you haven't got them and you've got followers on social media, you know, tell them that you're going to be recording these videos and there's those sort of helpful tips and tricks, and say, look, we want to send these out to you via email. So that helps you build up an email marketing list, or we want to stay connected via our social media channels. So this is a good opportunity. If you have emails, say, hey, follow us on our social media channels on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it might be. Something I wanted to talk about was the value. So this is kind of getting a little bit playing on the psychology of people. So there's various reasons why people would find that hairdressers or barbers quite a valuable place. So yes, there's the practicality of getting your hair cut, but it's a meeting and communal social space for people. So they would have rapport with their hairdresser or their barber. For some people, it might be the only time that they get out and they socialize with people. So what I would do is I'd say, okay, well, recognize yourself as a business as being the center point of that community that you've created, and sort of really explore that. So maybe you could say, okay, we're going to be online. We could be doing a web conference or a webinar, once a week for anyone that wants to come in and have a virtual haircut or, a cup of coffee and biscuits, and then kind of go, okay, let's have the same chatter, the same natter that we would if you were coming in, because there's lots of places that people could practically get their hair cut, but there's a reason over and above the fact that you've got a pair of scissors and a pair of clippers that they come to you. So yes, you've removed the scissors and the clippers, but you haven't removed the rapport and the human connection and the kind of culture, and those things are arguably more valuable in terms of the loyalty and the reasons why people keep coming back. So you could share your best memories across those channels of the times you've met with people. You could host these kind of virtual hookups and those sorts of things. So yeah, that's an idea I had.
No, absolutely. And you're right. A lot of people usually have one hairdresser, or maybe they stick to a particular person or whatever it might be that they stick to. And they have a relationship. They've talked about their holidays and, what they've been and their funniest stories and all that sort of thing. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's like I said at the beginning, it's keep the conversation going. There's no reason just to absolutely stop. And especially if you've got clients that you're close with and yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good idea. I like it.
You got anything else? I've got a little list here, Luke. I've got a little list.
Let's have a look. I think it'd be a good time as well for a lot of businesses to, especially within the hairdressing industry, to plan in terms of plan content ahead of time. There are apps that you can use like Planoly, which allows you to preempt when you're going to do posts and things. So like I said, whether you're making content now or you're looking at making content when you start up again, you could probably preempt everything that you want to do. So a lot of businesses say, oh, we'll post once or twice a week, whatever it is. Why not create this content ahead of time, preempting what's going to happen in the future, and put it on an app like Planoly to release those posts. You don't have to worry about it once it then gets busy and then you forget to post in the future. So I think, again, do research, take a look at what apps might be a benefit to you at this time.
That's great, because there's never going to be more of a better time to actually plan the things you're going to do when you're back in business properly. And if you don't use the time now, that planning time will disappear, and then you'll find yourself straight back to the practicalities of running your business. So you're right, planning is key. SEO, Luke, so search engine optimization. So at the moment, no one might be coming in and getting their hair cut, but and I know the goalposts are moving every day on this, but let's say 3 months from now, there is going to be a huge amount of organic search traffic on Google, searching for, hairdressers near me, hairdressers in your hometown, or best hairdressers, or where to get a perm. If people, I don't know if people stop perms, but if they do, they might.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then you got that time to actually make sure that when that big influx of organic search traffic happens, you're absolutely up there at the top. And 3 months is enough to move from not on the first page of Google to being on the first page of Google, or Definitely. If you're at the very bottom of the first page, when you're getting less than 10% of the whole traffic, is being in the top 3 and getting 30% of all those clicks. So
absolutely,
find an SEO expert, learn yourself, or call Flashbuzz, obviously.
Absolutely. I think that's actually given me an idea. You mentioned that. I think it'd be a good idea as well to plan bookings ahead of time. If your website doesn't have a very good booking system, because at some point there's inevitably going to be a big influx of people wanting to get their haircuts, a lot of businesses are going to just have to turn people away. I mean, think about your population in your local town or whatever it is. So we're in the Banbury and Oxfordshire area. So for us, we know there are going to be hundreds of people wanting to get their haircuts the day we're suddenly all allowed to go out. And I think a lot of businesses may fail to have a proper booking system to allow them to book slots in for people. So a lot of people will call up the hairdressers, whether that's one of your competitors or whoever it might be, say, do you have a booking for this afternoon, next week? And you may be booked out for weeks at a time. But I think it's important, again, come back to your SEO, potentially having a really good booking system on your website, so optimizing your website for the inevitable big influx of people wanting to get their haircuts once we're all allowed out, basically.
100%. And it's a fantastic idea. And this is a good time to point out that some of this stuff, although we're talking about hairdressers, relates to almost any business. You know, this is really sensible stuff. So, okay, so in terms of content that you can do at home, if you have a website and you don't have a blog page, then get a blog page. And if you do, start writing blog content. Reflect on, you know, how this has changed your business, how it's affecting your customers. Talk about what your launch party is going to look like, and then share that with people that are following you to inspire them and to get them to, again, reconnect with your brand if they can't come in and see you in person. And there'll be lots of news sources, lots of community sites at the moment, lots of news sites which are hungry for content, because apart from obviously the virus and the related things that are happening around that, you know, we're starved of the other stories. So if you write a really inspiring blog post, and again, that's great for SEO and something you can do from home.
Definitely. I think when it comes to content, I would say as well, I think it's important to try and stay as positive as possible. I know a lot of businesses and a lot of the things that we see on the news at the moment are all very, very negative. But I think as businesses, even though it's not obviously a great time to be in business, I think it's important to stay positive and to create content which is, you know, sort of uplifting and gives people a sense of hope, whatever it is. So I think it is a good idea definitely to create a blog post and add to it in a positive way. Think about all the positives that will happen in the future. Tell fun stories, tell enjoyable moments with clients, whatever it is, and not try to think too negative. I think in the UK and I think across the world, I think everyone's being quite negative about everything at the moment. Obviously, it's not a great time, but at the same time, it's positive. You know, the news at the moment seems to be constantly negative. I think it's important for businesses to be that shining beacon of light, if you will, that positivity, saying, you know what, we're going to get through this together and so forth.
Mm.
Yeah.
100%. So this is kind of what you've already covered, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it as a separate thing, which was online tutorials, whether that be something that you promote free on social media or whether something that you actually try and sell as a course. So it could be for the next 3 months, and you mentioned this earlier, you know, a lot of your mates are just shaving their hair off at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
The inevitability of not being able to go to a barber's, but actually, you know, people can still buy home hair clipping kits, and actually, if you're the authority on how they can use that,
yes, the expert, exactly.
You're guiding them over the next 3 months, and then they're thinking about, where do I go and get my haircut when I don't need to use my clippers at home? They'll come to your business. That's what they'll do.
That's right. I think that's exactly right. Exactly. Be the experts in your industry and take charge, basically. You know, people won't be able to go get haircuts, and they will want to still look as, you know, as nice as they can. So you know, whether it's, you know, 1 minute daily tips or, you know, maybe longer tutorial type videos, you know, you could do it for different types of hairs. You could do it for people that, you know, if you dye your hair, obviously it's going to grow out, and, you know, how to do it from home and all this sort of thing. There's kind of tips and tricks. Be the expert of your industry. Be that beacon that people can go to for tips. So, and I would post it everywhere. You know, create a YouTube channel if you don't already have one. Put up 1 minute clips on your Instagram. Put it out on Facebook. Even if you don't page promote it, I think it'd be a good idea for whatever audience you currently have. And again, it all comes back to SEO as well. You know, the more your business pops up online, the better your SEO becomes. So it's absolutely worth doing now. And, you know, like we've already said, if you're not going to do it now, you may not ever do it. You know, we have, in a way, a great opportunity, as bad as this time might be, to do these things that we've always said we were going to do, but we've never actually done them. And I think again, this comes back to a lot of businesses, but for the hairdressing industry, I don't see anyone putting out anything at the moment. I haven't seen any content around, you know, do your own hair type stuff at all. And it could be, you know, keeping your beard trimmed and neat, or it could be anything. I think it'd be a great time to put out content. I think some hairdressers have got to take charge and do it, because it's a massive opportunity.
Yeah. I know a lot of the big horse racing events have been cancelled recently, but I think I want businesses to imagine they're in the kind of the starting gates, and their businesses is a racehorse. You know, you should be training, you should be planning, ready for those gates to come open. and then when they come over,
Exactly.
need to be a front runner. It might be that maybe your business wasn't particularly successful in doing some things before, but with 3 months of proper planning and 3 months of implementation, you could be one of the industry leaders in your area. Once everything hits go, and that could be a game changer for your business. That could literally move you from, directly affect your bottom line and the amount of people that are coming in and using your business.
Definitely, and actually, you touched on a point there. It's important as well to, I think, businesses to reflect on themselves, and this again, it's a great time now for the businesses to look at what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong. Really, again, we have time, so why not reflect on how the business can improve? And this doesn't, just apply to online stuff. This is just generally, it's you might be struggling with, again, it might be booking systems or whatever it might be. And it's a great time now actually to sit down as a team. So you might do it via a Skype call or something and agree, okay, well, what can we do to improve? And what can we do now to, to prepare for that sort of thing when everything gets up and going again? It's a great time to do a lot of internal sort of thinking, really.
Yeah, it's really easy for businesses and business owners to be panicking right now. And there's a lot of reasons to do it. But actually keep a level head and think about it. And it'll be the ones that do keep a level head and that plan and get things going as quickly as possible. They're the ones, will end up benefiting. Another thing I wanted to talk about was your unique position as a hair salon or a barber's, where you have wholesalers and suppliers for products that perhaps people aren't able to get from their local supermarkets or their normal sources. So actually, Definitely. Perhaps that's something you could do to say, look, hey, everyone's after a certain product at the moment. We're going to talk to our suppliers, and we're going to, pass it on to you guys, and maybe put some bulk orders in. Again, it's another touch point. It's another reason for the people to go, that's great that these guys are being so forward thinking at this time. And
exactly.
There might be money to be made on that, or might just want to do it as a brand building exercise.
Well, exactly. And actually coming back to the video tips ideas, you might be recommending a certain product in your video tips, whether that's a hair gel or a dyeing product or something that you can then sell out afterwards. So you can talk about it in the video and say, we use, what product X, and we also then provide it on our website. So yes, exactly. I think a lot of people, products like that might start to run out, and it's a great way to then bring back some sort of business through your videos, potentially.
Another one I wanted to talk about was a loyalty scheme. So now's a better time than any to launch a loyalty scheme to recognize the fact that, hey, we're going to take a snapshot of all of our customers that we've had over the last 12, 18 months and issue them with an e-card or some sort of digital ticket for a loyalty scheme to say, look, we wanted to do this to say thank you for your business. And you hope we do return to it. And we wanted to say that you're, already a few steps into getting a free product. Just come back in once more, and you can access, a certain percentage or a free product of some sort. So just acknowledge that and thank them for the business they've already given you, and then make sure that they only need to come in once more, because that will all it will take. Because they come back in, they have a good experience, and they'll keep coming in. And again, you might get people coming in that have never come in with you, give them a great experience on that one occasion, and you could keep them for the next 12 or 18 months.
Definitely. And I think one thing I would say as well is when it comes to loyalty systems, I'm quite keen on doing loyalty systems in-house. I think a lot of people still stick to the physical card, stamp, whatever it is, 6 stamps gets you a free cappuccino, whatever it is. I think it's important to keep track of that in-house, mainly because it then gives you an opportunity to then call customers and, like you said, let them know, hey, by the way, you've now got, come in one more time and you get a free haircut or whatever it might be. So I think take charge of the loyalty system. Don't rely on your customers to come in and remember that, because think about the number of times that you've had a loyalty card for a Chinese or a Costa or whatever it might be, and you just never remember to use it. You leave it at home, whatever it is. I mean, I probably have 20 alone for my local Chinese, and I've never used them. I've never redeemed anything. So yes, exactly. Take charge of your personal loyalty system and your customers, basically.
Awesome. Well, look, I reckon we've given hairdressers, hair salons, this applies to beauty salons, barbers, loads of ideas. And I would say FlashBuzz as a brand, what I would say we would encourage all businesses and business owners to do is to see the opportunity in everything, and to look at the assets you've got, and to look at the people you've got, and actually to play those out in the best possible way, because people buy from people, people fall in love with brands, and now this is the best time to orchestrate these big messages and these big gestures, and people don't have a great deal else to do but to be engaged by great content. So
Absolutely.
Do you have anything to add, Luke?
No. I think that's all right. Yeah, I think you're right. You've said it really. I think it's a great opportunity, and see the positive in things. This is a good time now to take charge and to get those things done that you said you were going to get done, months ago, and now you actually have a chance to do them. So why not?
Awesome. Well, look, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I think we'll call it a day now. We're going to try and do this as close to every day we can. Whether anyone's got this far in the video, I don't know. Who's to say? But if you have, then what we want you to do is to suggest the next sector or the next industry that we should throw some ideas around for, to try and help you guys out. But for the time being, this has been Rob and Luke from FlashBuzz, and we hope you stay safe, wash your hands, and enjoy some time with the family.